Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. B&B spoilers. Brooke stunned by Carter's plan. Will she tell Ridge? The bold and the beautiful spoilers document that Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, does what so many in this version of Los Angeles, California do. She happens to be in the right setting at the right moment, overhears a compelling conversation, and then purposely eavesdrops. Brooke left her cabin, where she's generously allowed her daughter to live for years. But then Lang's character returned just in time to hear Hope Logan, Annika Noel, and Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor, talking. Carter succeeded. He got Ridge Forrester, Thorsten Kaye, and Steffi Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline McKinns Wood, to sign the legally licensed corporation LLC documents. Brooke's overhearing Carter and Hope's conversation was good soap, and Ridge matched that moment, not realizing what Carter had done. It is arguably a questionable plot point. Ridge seeing that Carter signed his name and initials in the manager's section of the LLC might be something an inexperienced executive might overlook. But the co-chief executive officer of Forrester Creations, in addition to the above, Ridge has been aware of Carter's highly unusual and aggressive behavior at work in recent weeks. Kaye's character knew that Carter was upset because hope for the future was cut, and because his idea to transform FC into a premium luxury brand destination was rejected. So, knowing what he knows, Ridge didn't question Carter's name on the manager's section of the documents. Steffi was the first to sense why Carter's demeanor shifted so radically. She believes Hope got in Carter's head and has convinced him to pity her. Knowing what Steffi knows about Hope's history, she wouldn't question Carter's name in the manager's spot on those documents. The above needs to pass the soapy smell test. Steffi has been jumping on all threats to her authority. Then, when her father announces what Carter did, the modest distraction of Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Buddig, entering the room causes Steffi not to question what Ridge said. Brooke loves Ridge and considers him to be her destiny, but she is currently siding with Hope, who Brooke believes Ridge wronged by not blocking the axing of HFTF. Hope withheld knowledge of Carter's plot from her mother. Brooke has to consider that. She has plenty to say about family and business topics, mainly because they're often connected. So it makes sense to believe Brooke will confront Hope, Carter, or both. She should urge them not to proceed. But if they refuse, Brooke will be in a terrible spot and wonder if she must tell Ridge the truth. Brooke has to talk with Hope so she can get more information. If Hope doesn't convince Carter to halt his plan, then Brooke will face alienating Ridge, with Taylor readily available for his rebound. The elegant confines of Forrester Creations had seen countless schemes, betrayals, and reconciliations over the years, but this time, the drama was unfolding in hushed tones behind closed doors. Brooke Logan stood motionless in the dimly lit design room, her heart pounding as the weight of what she just overheard settled over her like a storm cloud. Carter Walton's plan was audacious, to say the least, and if Ridge Forrester found out, it could shatter the fragile truce between them all. An unlikely discovery. It had all begun innocently enough. Brooke had stopped by the design studio to pick up sketches for a new collection Ridge was working on. But as she entered, muffled voices carried through the room. She paused, realizing Carter and Eric were having a heated discussion. Intrigued but not intending to eavesdrop, she had frozen in place when Carter's words sliced through the air like a knife. "I'm going to propose to Katie, Eric. I love her, and I can't keep hiding it." Brooke's breath hitched. Katie and Carter? While it wasn't entirely surprising, they had grown closer recently. It was the plan Carter laid out next that left her reeling. She deserves a fresh start, away from Bill's manipulation and the toxicity of their history, Carter continued. "I'm going to ask her to leave Los Angeles with me. We can build a life somewhere new, free from all this drama." Eric's response was measured but firm. "Carter, you need to think carefully about this. Katie has roots here, her son, her family. You might be asking too much of her. But Carter's resolve was unshakable. I've made up my mind, Eric. I'll do whatever it takes to convince Katie. I want a future with her, and I won't let Bill or anyone else stand in the way. As their voices faded and Eric offered Carter cautious support, Brooke's mind raced. Katie had been through so much, and Brooke knew how fiercely Bill still loved her sister. If Carter swept Katie away, it would send shockwaves through the Logan and Spencer families, not to mention what it would mean for Forrester Creations. Brooke's inner conflict. Later, as Brooke paced the living room of her sprawling estate, she couldn't shake the revelation. Ridge was due home any moment, and she debated whether to tell him. Ridge and Carter had grown close over the years. Their bond had been solidified through mutual respect and collaboration. How would Ridge react if he learned Carter was planning such a monumental move, potentially disrupting their tight-knit circle? The bigger question gnawed at her. Did Katie even know? Brooke had seen the sparks between her sister and Carter, but hadn't realized the depth of their connection. A part of her felt protective of Katie, wanting her sister to find happiness. But running away? That wasn't Katie's style, or was it? When Ridge finally walked through the door, his face lit up upon seeing Brooke. He kissed her on the cheek and poured himself a drink, oblivious to her turmoil. "You seem quiet," Ridge observed, raising an eyebrow. "Everything okay?" Brooke hesitated. Should she burden Ridge with this? What if it jeopardized his trust in Carter? She sipped her wine, buying herself time to think. "Just thinking about family," she said vaguely. "You know how complicated things can get sometimes." Ridge chuckled. "When are they not complicated?" Brooke forced a smile, but her mind was far from the playful banter. She decided to keep the secret, for now. Katie's perspective. Meanwhile, Katie had no idea that Carter was planning to propose, let alone ask her to leave Los Angeles. She had been enjoying their budding romance, appreciating Carter's steadiness and warmth. After years of emotional turbulence with Bill, Carter's love felt like a safe harbor. But would she uproot her life for him? Unbeknownst to her, Bill Spencer was also watching closely. Though Katie had drawn firm boundaries with her ex-husband, Bill wasn't one to give up easily. He had recently made subtle overtures, dropping hints that he wanted them to reunite for the sake of their son Will. Bill's confidence had always been his greatest strength and his greatest flaw. He assumed Katie's connection to Carter was a passing phase, a distraction she'd eventually grow out of. But Carter's plan changed the game. Bill's interference. It didn't take long for Bill to catch wind of Carter's intentions. Whether through overheard conversations or a slip-up from an unwitting Forrester employee, Bill learned that Carter was planning a grand gesture to take Katie away. His reaction was as explosive as one might expect. "This is absurd," Bill fumed to Liam during a private conversation at Spencer Publications. "Carter thinks he can just waltz in and take Katie? He has no idea who he's dealing with." Liam, ever the voice of reason, tried to calm his father. "Dad, maybe you should focus on what Katie wants, not what you want." But Bill was undeterred. "Katie doesn't know what she wants until I remind her," he declared. "Carter Walton doesn't stand a chance." Brooke's decision. As the days passed, Brooke's unease grew. She hated keeping secrets, especially ones that could potentially harm her family. But every time she resolved to tell Ridge, something held her back. Perhaps it was the fear of reigniting old conflicts, or the possibility that she'd misinterpreted Carter's intentions. Her breaking point came during a family dinner at Eric's mansion. As conversations swirled around them, Brooke couldn't help but notice the glances exchanged between Carter and Katie. There was no denying their connection, and no ignoring the storm brewing on the horizon. When Ridge excused himself to take a call, Brooke seized the opportunity to pull Carter aside. "Carter," she began, her tone measured but firm, "I know about your plan." Carter's eyes widened, but he quickly composed himself. "Brooke, this isn't what it looks like." "It's exactly what it looks like," she interrupted. You're planning to propose to Katie and ask her to leave town with you. Do you realize what that could do to her, to Will, to this family? Carter met her gaze, his expression resolute. I love Katie, Brooke. I'm willing to fight for her, even if it means leaving all of this behind. Brooke sighed, torn between admiration for his conviction and concern for the fallout. Have you even talked to Katie about this? Does she know what you're asking of her? I'll talk to her soon, Carter assured her. But Brooke, please, don't tell Ridge. Not yet. Let me handle this my way. The final dilemma. As Brooke watched Carter walk away, she felt the weight of his request pressing down on her. Keeping this from Ridge felt wrong, but she also didn't want to betray Carter's trust or jeopardize Katie's happiness. That night, as she lay in bed beside Ridge, her mind raced with possibilities. Would Carter's plan bring Katie the happiness she deserved, or would it tear their family apart? And when the truth inevitably came out, would Ridge understand why she had kept this secret?